will Iran nuke the city of Haifa in Israel?
Iran and Israel are archenemies, yet the bilateral relations have not always been hostile. Quite contrary, when Iran was ruled by the Pahlavi dynasty for more than a half century, Iranian-Israeli bilateral relations were far from hostile. Iran was one of the first Muslim countries to recognize the new state of Israel. The brutal Pahlavi dictatorship had close military and intelligence ties with the Jewish state. The Pahlavi regime was treating its political opponents as terrorists, and Iran's newly established SAVAK intelligence agency was receiving trainings and support from Israeli MOSSAD, SHABAK, and other intelligence agencies concerning torture, interrogation, and other debriefing techniques from political prisoners in Evin and other notorious prisons. Iran's 1979 Islamic Revolution, though, sent relations between the two nations into a tailspin. After the 1979 Islamic Revolution, Iran severed all diplomatic and commercial ties with Israel, and its theocratic government does not recognize the legitimacy of Israel as a state. Following the revolution, Iran ended its alliance with Israel and started supporting the Palestinians, symbolized by turning over the Israeli embassy in Tehran to the Palestinian Liberation Organization, or the PLO. In 1979, the absolute monarchy was replaced by a ruthless, genocidal religious dictatorship. King Mohammad Reza Pahlavi was ousted, and the new supreme leader of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, pursued a policy of standing up to the so-called bullying and arrogant world powers. During his regime, the United States became known in Iran as the Great Satan and Israel as the Little Satan. Facing potentially an existential threat, Israel did not sit idly by. Israel established a sophisticated espionage and sabotage network in Iran by absorbing senior military and political figures within Iran, who were willing to work with Mossad if Mossad's offered salary was gigantic. Iran's nuclear program became a primary focus of Israeli attacks. Israel and the US introduced the Stuxnet computer virus in the early 2000s to target the centrifuges enriching uranium for Iran's nuclear program. A series of sabotage attacks continued into the 2020s as Israel sought to damage Iranian nuclear facilities. Nuclear scientists were also targeted. Iran remains Israel's biggest enemy and has repeatedly threatened to wipe Israel off the map. Iran's most anti-Semite former president once described Israel as a disgraceful blot that should be wiped off the face of the earth. This statement by Mahmoud Ahmadinejad has been repeated by many senior Iranian regime officials. The Iranian regime is interested in destroying Israeli cities, but specifically the city of Haifa. On April 18, 2023, Iranian former President Ibrahim Raisi threatened to destroy Haifa at the slightest provocation in a speech he delivered during the country's National Army Day parade that also fell on Israel's Holocaust Remembrance Day.
But why Haifa? Why not Tel Aviv or Jerusalem?
The answer lies in Baha'is' presence in Haifa. The Baha'is are the most persecuted religious group in Iran, and their holiest site is located in Israel's third largest city, Haifa. Iran hates Baha'is because by introducing prophets such as Babullah and Baha'u'llah, the Baha'i faith challenges the very concept and basic tenet of Islam that Muhammad is the last prophet. Israel's Haifa is home to the holiest Baha'i sites. The Baha'i terraces, or the hanging gardens of Haifa, are garden terraces on Mount Carmel in Haifa, and one of the most popular tourist destinations in Israel. Completed in 2001, there are 19 terraces and more than 1,500 steps ascending the mountain. The central terrace has the Shrine of the Bab, one of the main religious sites of Baha'i faith. In addition, 4 members of the Holy Family are buried in this beautiful section of the Baha'i Garden in Haifa. Asiye Khanum, the most exalted leaf, Nawab, wife of Baha'u'llah. Their children, Bahia Khanum, the greatest holy leaf, and Mirza Mehdi, the purest branch, and Munire Khanum, wife of Abdul Baha. This Baha'i invention, meaning the introduction of new prophets in Iran after Prophet Muhammad's appearance, and their presence in Israel after they fled Iran following their persecution, infuriates Muslim clerics and religious extremists in Iran who would like to destroy Haifa, where ironically enough, around 20% of its citizens are Muslim.
Can Iran fulfill its dream of destroying Haifa and Israel?
Israel is the only nuclear power in the Middle East, and its nuclear weapons act as the greatest deterrent in curbing Iran's all-out aggression against the Jewish state. If necessary, the Jewish state will not hesitate to drop its nuclear bombs on Tehran and other population centers in Iran in the event of any condition of existential threat or a war of survival with the Islamic Republic. Iran does not have nuclear weapons and cannot defeat Israel in a colossal war. However, things are changing slowly but steadily. Recent reports indicate that Iran is shockingly close to nuclear breakout potential. The UN nuclear watchdog, the International Atomic Energy Agency (IAEA), will soon issue new reporting on Iran's nuclear program from a summer of inspections at Tehran's nuclear sites. The stakes are high as the new data may reveal new activities by Iran in its efforts to become a nuclear power. In June 2024, Iran installed several new uranium enrichment centrifuges at its Natanz enrichment plant and its underground Fordo site, more than tripling the latter's capacity to produce uranium enriched to 60% purity. Stockpiling 60% enriched material puts Iran days from enriching that uranium to 90%, the level needed for atomic weapons. As a result, the Islamic Republic's so-called breakout time, specifically the amount of time the regime needs to produce weapons-grade uranium for multiple nuclear devices, may have dropped significantly. IAEA data for May 2024 indicated the Islamic Republic could make enough fuel for one nuclear weapon in under 7 days, and enough for 13 weapons in 4 months. The regime would require an unknown number of additional months to build atomic devices and integrate the weapons-grade fuel, and the United States and Israel have reportedly observed Iranian scientists working on such efforts. As Iran is moving towards building nuclear bomb, it may technically be able to strike Haifa and Israel. However, having nuclear weapons does not mean that a country can use them due to mutually destructive attack capability by Israel and its allies, specifically the US. There are some insurmountable barriers that the clerical regime in Iran must address before planning to drop a nuclear bomb on Haifa. One major problem is that Iran is not only Persia. Iran is home to different ethnic groups who are treated as inferior second-class citizens. Due to this prevalent racial and ethnic discrimination in Iran that favors Persians to Azerbaijani Turks and other ethnic groups, the likelihood that Iran would disintegrate into several statelets is high. The Iranian ethnic groups, especially Azerbaijani Turks, who make up about 30 to 40% of country's total population, are friendly to Israel. And in the event of a war between Israel and Iran, most South Azerbaijanis or Iranian Azerbaijanis will side with Israel, and this would lead to Iran's territorial collapse. There are strong independence movements in South Azerbaijan, Balochistan, Al-Ahwaz, Kurdistan, and other parts of Iran that are inhabited by second-class, non-Persian ethnic groups. Thus, Iran cannot risk fighting with Israel and being disintegrated within its ethnic lines. Iran's top priority is to survive and maintain its territorial integrity by repressing and massacring its non-Persian ethnic groups.
Were there not an Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel.
Another deterrent is U.S. commitment to unconditionally support Israel. America's unwavering support of the Jewish state is a major factor in stopping a future nuclear Iran from attacking Israel. So long as the US is the primary global superpower, Iran can continue its wishful thinking of destroying Haifa by dropping a nuclear bomb on the city, but will never get a chance to realize that malign dream. In addition, China's rise to top superpower position between 2030 and 2040 and continued internal division in the United States and the lack of political will to maintain a costly and strong military presence in the global scene would not necessarily provide Iran with that chance to fulfill its dream. Jews have survived a Holocaust and are adamant to prevent a second pogrom of Jews. Israel is a vibrant, high-tech economy with one of the most advanced military and intelligence capabilities. Even if America abandons Israel, which is very unlikely due to evangelical Christian influence in U.S. politics, the Jewish state would maintain its technological and military edge and would ensure that no Middle Eastern, Muslim, or other adversary has the audacity and the capacity to destroy this safe haven for Jews. As much as it wishes to inflict death and destruction in Israel, Iran would be more and more forced to be preoccupied with its internal problems. Rather than realizing its dream of wiping Haifa and Israel off the map, it is highly likely that Iran would be disintegrated into statelets, as since coming to power of Pahlavi dynasty, the Persian supremacists have created a country that resembles apartheid South Africa, a country that is doomed to cease to exist. I hope you found this analysis insightful. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. See you in the next video.